Welcome to the Flip Side, a Get Your Teach On podcast where we break down, share, and challenge flip perspectives and insights on different hot topics in education. It's the beginning of season 3 of
Happy
Flip
season
Side.
3!
All new episodes coming your way soon this summer and into the school year. So let's dive into the Flip Side. Here we go.
Welcome back to the Get Your Teach On Flip Side. We are so excited to be here on the Flip Side couches and chairs for season 3. What?
I can't believe it.
I feel like we were just like making the studio and putting all of
The Halloween episode.
Oh, the Halloween episode was so good.
The letters falling off the wall. For the
Literally in the first
9
couple
episodes.
episodes. Man, look at how far we've come.
Man, getting the
At how far we've
And
come.
now we barely change between episodes.
So true. It's so true.
We used to change outfits every single episode, and we're like, we can wear the same thing.
we're good.
Exactly. We're like, the people don't care. They don't care. They just want to be motivated, inspired.
Yeah.
And this season, we are so excited because things are going to be just a little bit different. This season is Get Your Teach On Flip Side, the podcast. And it is still going to be breaking down and sharing hot topics in education. But it's going to be Ask, Get Your Teach On Anything. And we will also have some special guests that ask, fill in the blank anything. And we've got some
They're really cool people.
really exciting guests that we are so excited to have.
Insights.
I'm going to say this. I'm not supposed to. I don't care. Wade's going to be mad at me, so it's fine.
What? No.
I'm
Is it
gonna say
okay if you say it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be fine
I
if
don't
we
know if
say it.
it's okay.
But we have already confirmed
What guests have
that
we
we're
confirmed?
really excited about.
I don't know.
He comes from Love on the Spectrum.
Oh.
His name is Tanner. And so we
Oh.
are so
How do you
excited.
know
If
what
you're-
she's gonna say?
I had to give him a little something. I mean, when I say we're going to have really great guests, we're going to have really great guests. We've always had really great guests. But we're excited to have some different people, some people that are either part of the Get Your Teach On community and maybe they don't have a specific teacher role. So maybe some of the people that you see on the Get Your Teach On stage, but also just other people that we can learn from their stories, how they were as students, what teachers made an impact in their lives. And so we are so excited to have Tanner and his sister Midge on the podcast this season. Midge is now she's going to be a second year teacher, but we are so excited just to have Tanner, to learn from him, to learn about what made a difference for him in school
And Midge.
and for Midge as well. So we're so excited. We have lots of guests. Sometimes it will just be the people that you see on the couch. But before we dive into season 3 and how excited we are for all the content, we do have a little bit, things are changing.
Yeah.
Seasons are changing. Life is changing. You know, I'm a big believer, before we dive into this and we dive into the first episode, in the fact that seasons, when you look at life as seasons, you understand why things happen a little bit more than having the other perspective, which is, well, why is this happening or why is that happening? Sometimes things are just meant for a season. And so the Flip Side podcast is going to be changing just a little bit. We are sad. While we're excited about everything that's to come, we are sad to lose one of our amazing co-hosts on the couch. So the amazing Chris Pombonyo will no longer be sitting to my left. I don't know what I'm going to do without seeing him sitting to my
What
left.
are you gonna do with the chairs?
I know. I don't even.
Where's everyone gonna sit?
I'm going to be very confused because I always angle to the left. So Chris is always who I see. And now I guess Wade's going to have to sit over there. So at least have somebody to fill that spot. But things are changing for Chris, and it's something that we wanted just to have a quick little episode about to fill you guys in on. Chris has been such a big part of the Get Your Teach On community now for 10 years. And so when we started talking about just his transition and what that's going to look like, I was like, honestly, I feel like the best way to do this is just to talk about it on a podcast because everybody loves and adores Chris so much. And I was like, I don't want anyone just to see a post or to see something and assume that this is some big scandal, negative transition. Honestly, what it boils down to, and I'm going to let Chris share, obviously, but here's the bottom line. And this is just what I want to share from my heart when anybody leaves Get Your Teach On. Get Your Teach On will never have anyone forever, except for me. I think I'm the only one that is bound to this, you guys, because I am the fan. Maybe that's not even the truth. I don't even know what the future holds for me, but the fact that I am the founder of this kind of puts me in this seat for, an unlimited time. But here's the thing about anything in life. Whether you're in a classroom and maybe you're considering leaving a school or you're considering doing another job, for everything there is a season, and that includes Get Your Teach On. I have never one time expected that anyone would be a part of Get Your Teach On forever. That's just not how life works. bottom line is sometimes Get Your Teach On outgrows people, and sometimes people outgrow Get Your Teach On. And so Chris has had a lot of life changes, as you guys know, from the start of the podcast until now. He's now the proud father of sweet baby Jackson, who is literally the best baby in the whole entire world and the cutest baby. He and Maverick are right up there together.
Big brown eyes.
Yep. Such a sweet baby. But things are changing for Chris. And so we wanted him just to be able to share a little bit about that change so that you guys as the community are filled in too on what it's going to look like moving forward with the Chris Pombonyo.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't maybe know, I have made the decision to step away from my role with Get Your Teach On our leadership team after 10 years. Obviously, not something I maybe ever thought that would happen or even thought would be having conversation about or what that would look like. So there's not really a answer of what this looks
We
like.
don't have a playbook for what happens when Chris leaves the leadership team of Get Your Teach
There's
On.
no playbook for it, but essentially over the past probably year or so, as different things have changed and different shifts are making in various different areas, I found that what we always talk about is your joy and pouring into yourself is most important.
Yeah.
And I found that the day-to-day of working on things on leadership and things that we do for Get Your Teach On weren't filling my bucket like they once did when we did that for so long. So over the last year, that's been a constant, I don't want to say battle in my head, but kind of what do you do on something that you love so much and you've built for 9 years that now no longer fills you the way it once did or fuels you the way it once did. So for once, I'm choosing what we always preach to teachers and what we always say, even on the podcast or in schools. And I'm just choosing me and my joy and what that looks like. I don't know. But I think this season, this chapter, it's time for something new or something next. And I don't know what that looks like. There's no plan. Like Hope said, there's no playbook for what this looks like. But when things change, people change. And at this time, that's just the best decision for me personally, because I think we can all agree that your environment where you work and what you pour into each day, there's so many factors that contribute to that. And then it doesn't just affect your work. It affects you you're as a parent. It affects you as a brother. It affects you as a son. And I think probably prior to Jackson, I could have a bad day or not feel that joy and just kind of like shut it out and be like, it is what it is. I could be frustrated. I could be not as happy as I once was, but I could kind of push off.
Through. Yeah.
But now I can't end a Zoom meeting and be frustrated and not have that joy fuel me and then go be a great parent. Like, it doesn't work.
Having
like
a
that.
baby changes.
It doesn't work like
it's
like that.
weirdest
So
thing.
if you're not happy with what you're doing and you're frustrated, you're just thinking of all these different things and you're just not your best self and don't feel like your best self, it affects every aspect of your life. And we've done some incredible things over the past 10 years with Get Your Teach On. And like Hope said, there's a season for that and things change, new things come in, and it's time, I think. And it's taken us a lot to even get on this couch, the three of us, and kind of talk about this. So not nonchalantly, because it's not nonchalantly, but it wasn't easy, obviously, because we never thought this would be a thing, but it's what I need to do for me. And everyone's question is like, well, what are you going to do now? I have no idea. So that's still an open end. It's not a leaving this for something else. And what that looks like is still very gray and figuring it out, but I'll still be at our national. I don't know when this airs. Maybe after nationals.
You will have been at national.
Okay, I was already at nationals, so I was
or
there.
who knows?
I was there.
Airs.
Yeah, hopefully.
One of the two.
Hopefully, I was there. So you saw me there, but what that looks like, it's still up in the air and kind of gray, and it's not clean, and it's not black or white, and that's okay.
And it's not easy.
Oh, definitely not easy.
And that's why, I had to I presented this idea to Chris several weeks ago, and the first answer was no.
Yeah. No, it was a hard no.
Chris does not like to be, he doesn't want to have the highlight on him, the attention on him,
which most people don't know. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's
because you're always on the stage.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that's like work, and then there's like personal Chris.
Yeah.
Like there's like, that's work Chris. That's like, you have to do these things to do these things. And then there's like, oh, your real life, how you act. And Hope is 100% right. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. And so it really took some time, but I said, I really
even before we started filming, I'm like, what is this going to look like? She's like, we're just going with it. Trust me. I'm like,
I said, I got it.
I wanted a full playbook.
I said, I got it. Don't worry. I wouldn't let you down here. But I think this conversation is so important, and it's not just important for us to have so that the community knows where Chris is. Like, that's not even the point of this episode. We've always said that on the Flip Side Couch, we were going to bring the things that were controversial, the things that were hard, the things that most people don't talk about. And I said, we've got to stay true to that. And I think this is such a great opportunity because, and like Chris said, we're not just saying it might appear or come off as nonchalant. This has been months.
Oh, yeah.
And,
If we had filmed this 3 weeks ago,
Right.
it would not have.
Yeah,
It would not have happened.
And it's also, I mean,
go ahead.
yeah, sorry.
Finish my thought.
Yeah, finish.
Okay. So,
Write it down. But
yeah, right. I know. Because if I don't write it down, you got it. You need your phone, get your notes out, and that app out. But I think this is really important because, a lot of people or people who have left Get Your Teach On in the past, I'll just use that as an example. They'll say things like, Get Your Teach On has changed. It's just not the same as what it used to be. They're right.
True. It's
They're
true.
right. It shouldn't
Correct.
be.
It is true.
Or in this situation, maybe somebody might, well, Chris has changed. Chris,
Yeah.
You should.
True.
Also true. Number one, you're a dad now. That changes literally everything.
That's everything.
So for people, sometimes in friendships, people will say, well, so-and-so has changed. They're just not the same. Well, have you changed along with them? Or maybe, you've outgrown that friendship or they've outgrown the friendship with you because truly people change. And that's something that we've got to get away from seeing as such a negative thing. And sometimes that does mean that people move on. And I'm not saying, look, we've had to work through a lot. We are obviously best friends and have been for a very long time. That doesn't mean that just because we're best friends, I was like, oh, yay, Chris, I'm so happy.
Yeah.
There were a lot of emotions that we had to work through. But also, I think it's so important to recognize, you know what? Just because Chris says and is saying that Get Your Teach On the day-to-day doesn't make him happy anymore, that doesn't reflect poorly on him or on Get Your Teach On.
No.
It's just that people have grown. People have shifted. The business has shifted. There's so many different components to that. And I think we've got to stop looking at change as being negative and instead of just saying, okay, well, the change has brought us here. Now, how do we navigate the now? How do we navigate? We got to stop living so much in the past or so much in the future and say, how do we navigate the now? And for you even saying, I don't even know what the now looks like, that's also okay.
Yeah.
There's also nothing wrong with that.
I also think every change, as we talk about like growth and change of what that looks like, every change is going to benefit some areas and not benefit others. Like there's going to be a pro and con of every single change throughout anything in life, in your schools, in your life, like no matter what that looks like. So changes within Get Your Teach On, not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's a 50-50 balance of where does this fall for you personally in that journey. And it's not going to be the best fit for everyone throughout the way.
That's right.
A lot of people ask like, I don't know how you're doing it with Jackson. Great. Luckily, Jackson is the best behaved.
He really is. I don't know how you got
I've
so
ever
lucky.
met. Like if you've worked with us, from when he was born till now, he literally sits like at my feet during meetings and all the things. So becoming a dad,
It's actually wild.
It's been an amazing transition being able to do that. So people are like, how are you giving up a job where it is very flexible?
Mm-hmm.
We work remotely all together. I'm home all day for the unknown of what that looks like. Cause I may be back in a school building. And that obviously is a hard battle in your head because we do have the luxury when we're working with schools and districts that it is a little more flexible than if you were 9 to 5 in a building or in a job. Like that obviously is a luxury that we do have with the work that we do. And then when it gets to conference time, obviously we work more in 1 week than we would have probably in 3 months combined of hours and things like that. But it's whatever works for you personally and kind of where you fit in that puzzle that you have to make the decision. So if teachers are at a school and they have a change in administrator or they don't like the team that they're on or things like that, that might be what's best fit for the school at that point, but maybe not best fit for you. And you kind of have to outweigh what that looks like and make the best decision for you, not for anyone else. Not for what that's there, because it's not about the Get Your Teach On community. Obviously, that's my favorite part of everything that we've done is the teachers, the students, working with, like, that's what we love to do.
I think that's, I think all of us could say that.
That's what it's about.
That's our favorite. That's our favorite part.
That's what it's always been about is how can we make schools a great place for kids and a great place for teachers and give them what they need to do that. And our work with Indiana was probably some of the most rewarding work that we've been able to do together with those teachers and leaders. But in whatever situation you are, in education, out of education, you have to kind of take a step on the outside, which is often hard of, okay, this is what it looks like here, but how do I see myself in this? And what emotions are there? How are you feeling about things? What is working for you? What is not working for you? All those factors lead to it. So someone else might not understand it, and they don't need to necessarily. Like they don't have to, because they don't know the day-to-day of what has led to whatever decision you're making.
And I think that is so important. And that's why I was like, I know this can be such a powerful conversation if we brought it to the podcast. And I wasn't trying to use your situation to make content.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to make, because...
Well, I told her, I said, this is the most cringe-worthy thing you've ever said. Literally, that's what I told her. Like, no. It's like, it's a conversation that needs to be had. So yeah, I trusted the process.
And I told him, I said, if you hate it, we can delete it. Just so hopefully if this made it to the air, then it's okay. It's okay. But I think what you just said, because I've even had text messages recently from, different teachers and schools that we work. There's so much change happening, and there's, different changes of position. And I think that's so important for if you are miserable somewhere, you are not benefiting that place.
Correct.
So for you to have stayed in the same position that you were in at Get Your Teach On, if you were miserable, we wouldn't have gotten the best Chris anyways, which wouldn't have been the best for the team, for anything. Yeah. And so I think as teachers, sometimes we're like, oh, but...
And it would be, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. And it would be not fake, but it would be hiding emotions that I really need to get out, that maybe I'm talking about in therapy. Maybe I'm talking about to friends or family, but also there's a gray line, because usually your best friends... You vent about things like that. When you're working with your best, it doesn't necessarily work the same way as...
Which is why I also said, we're not faking this and saying, oh, Chris is going back to a school to work.
Right,
I was like,
maybe not.
We are going to dress.
Yeah. So, like, there's no... I forget where I was going with that. But regardless, there's no, like, answer for that of what that...
Right.
Like, there's not that avenue. There's not that outlet. There's not a...
Yep.
So, and that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay. And it is tricky working with your friends. And you might be feeling the same way at a school. Like, oh my gosh, the principal is one of my great friends, or my teacher neighbor is one of my... But at the end of the day, or even the thing that we hear, the kids need me. Kids need teachers everywhere. Like, it's not one specific place. And so sometimes you have to make the difficult choice. Sometimes you have to do the thing that scares you the most that will lead to your happiness at the end of the day. Because ultimately, being happy, I don't care whether it's in the teaching profession, in whatever profession you're in, your happiness is what is going to drive your motivation, your success, your growth. And so at the end of the day, sometimes you have to make those really difficult decisions. And you know what? Here's the deal. And this is a piece of it for us too, because like Chris mentioned, we've been such great friends and best friends for 10 years. Our friendship is also changing.
Yeah.
That's also okay. That is, it doesn't, I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying it doesn't cause big emotions, and it doesn't, but also if something is worth fighting for, you fight for it. And you know what those good things and important things are. And I firmly and deeply believe that if you make the right decisions for you, everything else will fall into place.
I agree. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. If you're, so let's say the easy decision, and this is what people always say, like easy decision would be, okay, let's just do it for another year till the next national.
Yeah.
Let's see what it looks like. I'm not showing up as the best me, but I don't want anyone to see, I'm not going to show up to I'm not going to show up to the conference and not give my best, but behind the scenes, it's not going to grow me at all, because I'm going to be suppressing things or hiding things or not sharing my real feelings, but it's also not going to grow the teachers or the leaders, because I'm not showing up as my authentic self to those areas. That's I'm thinking about everything else that is not pouring in. So I think what's easy is not always what's right.
That's right.
And I think also, like, when we had this conversation,
and not what we do is easy, but
no, heck no. But when we had this conversation the first time, or just working through it for those few weeks and however long we did, it was very hard for me. I mean, I think you know this too. For me to not just say, "Oh, please, Chris, please," because I would never want to push you to do exactly what you just said.
Well,
to struggle through that.
Yeah.
I mean, we asked a few times, but
I
then
think
it was
it's a
like,
balance of like loyalty.
I'm going to respect that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not So I mean, but also having open and honest conversations. I think if you are in a school system or whatever it may be, knowing what you truly value, but also being honest with those people who are around you in those circles is vital to moving forward if you truly prioritize them. So
yeah, and I think for a lot of people, if you're in a situation where you think you know what you want to do, but you're unsure, or there's different things, and then someone else maybe convinces you to stay or whatever that looks like, that's only going to last for so long.
Yeah.
Also even throughout those conversations where it's like, okay, well, maybe this could be, you have to make the decision that's like stick to your, and it's not going to be make everyone happy. It's not going to be maybe what everyone wants to hear, but you kind of have to stick to what your gut is telling you, and just even if you don't know the answer and your brain is telling you, I have no idea what this looks like. If your gut is telling you something different, then I think that's the best advice, to stick with that.
Yeah. So what does the future look like for Chris Pombonyo on his own with Get Your Teach On? The answer is truly, we don't even know the answer to that. And that's the last thing I was like, I don't want for people to be like, oh, well, I thought he left and now he's back. We aren't making we all have talked about, again, our favorite work, our best lives is in school. And the three of us still to this day work seamlessly together and have the same vision, the same.
That is correct.
We're freaking good.
And this is, and literally I started, and when we had this conversation, obviously talking to your friends about this and also bosses, it's not an easy conversation. Yeah. I started it with the work that the three of us do together is, I don't want you to think that that is this conversation, because that is not the conversation of what we have accomplished in schools, what we've accomplished with teachers and built over 10 years. That was not a factor in what we do. So who knows? Yeah, like Hope said,
he may be back in a school with us. He may eventually present at a conference again. He may sit on this couch as a podcast guest because he's doing something amazing in a district. We don't know.
Or Jackson will be in college and he'll be your guest.
But truly, thank you, Chris, for everything that you have brought to the flip side to Get Your Teach On. Obviously, we don't know what the future holds. But I think that the great thing is that we're walking through the door together versus closing the doors and going two completely separate ways. But until then, you guys, we will see you next week for another brand new episode of GYTO The Flip Side. You never know what's coming, so that means you have to tune in each and every Monday. For the last time together, you guys, we'll catch you on the
flip side.
Bye, buddies.